We all know the difficult ones when you come up here, you got to be able to deal with, right? I mean, the last few to sit up here after a game and and try to give your synopsis without actually watching and things is not always easy. But this does feel a lot better, and I'm sure for you guys as well. But this is what things want to look like for us. And I know you can't expect this every single week. I mean, obviously you can work for it. But what I mean by it, and I told him afterwards, it wasn't just winning, and it wasn't winning by the score. It was winning in a way that, like, there was still some adversity. There were still some things we had to do in order to have success, and then that complementary, that ability to feed off of each other. With the 2 turnovers in the first half, and then we get stops defensively in the red zone and hold them to field goals. Like that, to me, there's a lot of things about the game, but that to me is really where the difference in the ball game is. And when you can do that, and not only hold them, and that's a big thing for the defense, but I think even offensively, when they look at guys like that and they're like, okay, it's not like all on our shoulders. It's that really get the feel for that complementary football. I think that's how you got to gain confidence in things. And I know it's been tough on these guys. I mean, you could see 21, 22-year-olds in the locker room acting like 13, 14-year-olds just because the sheer fact that they care, they work, they want nothing but the best, and they all understand that, like, nothing is guaranteed to us. But I tell you what, they really did what we had expected and wanted them to do today more than anything, and they did it together.
Luke, 28 first downs the offense recorded. What does it say about this unit, about how well they moved the ball and how efficiently they moved it?
They did a really good job. And there's some things in particular, the start of the second half, getting to third downs and making some plays and backed up on the goal line on the 2-yard line, even though you think the game's in a good place. But those kinds of things change momentums. They were able to establish the line of scrimmage against a team that does get in bear and try to say, look, we're not going to let you run the football. They did a really good job at establishing that. And I think when they do that, and they did that, that creates a little bit more space when those catches happen. And when there's space for those guys, they've got an opportunity to make some plays. And that's just one of those things. That's probably what we haven't seen. Even Vinny's, ball last week on a go, he beats a guy and he goes for a touchdown, or CJ's one a couple weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, where the guy drops him in a good play. But we haven't seen some of those ones where they're really catches in traffic of some sort, and then they pull away and split things like Tretch did today, and Vinny did a bit today too. So I think there's a lot to be said about running and being able to establish the line of scrimmage that creates more space.
Kind of a follow-up with that on the offensive line, just maybe their best performance of the season so far in terms of especially pass protection. It seemed like Braden had a lot of time. Just can you evaluate how they handled all that pressure?
I wish you'd have said that before I'd have brought them guys up there. I brought the D line. No, they did. I mean, I think that's again, you got to go back and watch. But we knew that that's where we got to lean on, and they did a great job. They gave Braden time. I know that even last week in some of those things where guys drop 8 and they twist up 3 guys, and you lose your guy or something like that. There's still problems inside there. We had last week. This week, if they dropped 8, I mean, it was a clean pocket, and that's what led to, I think, Tretch's big long one. They did a really good job. It was great to see some other guys get in there too. I think that's where we don't realize the value of some of these situations. It's the second drive of the second half, and Kevin Haywood has to go in. And I was a little bit like, whoa. And Jack's okay. I think his hip tightened up on him or something. But they have that much confidence in some of those younger guys to have the opportunity to go in there and still be able to do what we want to do. That unit as a whole had a really good game.
It felt like a game like this was coming for Tretch. What have you seen from him day in and day out as he was just working to make a game like this happen?
Well, I think I think last week was probably a little bit hard on him, and I'm not saying he was bad. I know that the drop pass or the tip ball and the pick 6, and he's still a young guy, and but he is a competitor. He is what we want to continue to build our culture around. Guys like that are fearless. They're competitive as all get out. I didn't say they don't make mistakes, but it was really, really good, and I think he had an opportunity to even get some more chances today, even with Will twisting himself up there a little bit and not being able to come back in and then come back in, it was great to see him kind of step up and take that role and make some plays.
Coach, you've had to answer questions even this week about outside noise and maybe what your program has accomplished so far. You have to feel pretty good today about what you accomplished today.
It's day in, day out, and yes, this is well needed and well deserved for those guys in there and us, and we all understand what this is all about. I mean, there's a level of expectation, there's a level of following and love and passion for what it is that we do, and we embrace that. And sometimes that's hard, and I don't think it's just hard on me because I don't listen, but I also know that it's impossible for those guys not to. Those things are, I think, John Wooden said it best a long time ago, whether it's praise or criticism, if you ingest it and let it settle inside you, it'll kill you either way. And, I think those guys have had to handle some of those things. And you know what? That hasn't changed who they are and how they've gone about their business, and that's what I'm proud of right now.
Just what it says for Braden, the way he responded after those back-to-back interceptions and how he played.
Yeah,
that
I'm impressed. I'm really happy for, because, even there's a situation at a time where the Will one is a great play on their part. Will got to come down with that ball, and the next one was a little bit behind, probably a little bit. I don't want to say similar to last week, because I think last week was a different situation. But I don't know that I saw a different demeanor. I didn't see a different body language. I didn't see a different attitude, and that's not always the case, Sometimes you take it for, well, he's a slinger and he doesn't care. No, it's just he processes things. He's able to come back. He's able to have confidence in what he's doing. And I thought he did a great job today. I mean, I know he wants those couple balls back, and we all do. But I think that's what, as I said in the locker room, what to me makes this that much better is there was adversity. There was situations where we had to step up. It didn't just go super smooth the entire time, and sometimes that's even better.
Luke, going back to Tretch, sometimes when a young guy doesn't get consistent opportunities, it's not easy for them to process that. How's he been handling that? Well,
he gets opportunities in practice. He gets opportunities, maybe not as many, hadn't had as many in the game. We're still battling, right? I mean, like, obviously Will Pauling and him play the same position, and we want to have tight ends on the field. We want to sometimes have two tight ends on the field, and when you do that, sometimes that means sometimes you can't have both of those explosive guys on the field, or even one of them on the field. So that's where you continue to figure out who you are and how you get your best players on the field. We know we got to be able to establish running game. We know we got to give guys opportunities. And sometimes it is harder. We've all been, not all of us, but a lot of us have been in a backup role where when your top opportunities come, you got to take advantage of them. And that's part of the game, But we're trying to do a better job, I think, even this week, trying to say, okay, hey, how are we going to give guys more opportunities to see if they can, catch that get hot in some of those situations. And his was a unique one too. We were going to play him a lot. We had some things built in for him, but also when Will went down, it gave him a lot more opportunities.
Yeah, Coach. So you talked a lot about opportunities today for some younger players. So what does it mean for guys like Mabry and Gideon and JT to be able to have these live game situations?
There's a lot of those guys that got some opportunities today that did not get any of those opportunities last year. We never, put ourselves in a situation or position where we felt like those guys could get some good work. So those guys got some good work, and it's going to be valuable because we know we're going to need them down the stretch here. You never know how things happen. We've got a stretch of games that's going to be, this is brutal. And we know that. And that's why, we talk about having at least 22 to 25 guys on each side of the ball that you have confidence in that can play. You don't always hope you got to play all 25 or a significant role. But even today with the wide receivers, there was a lot of guys that really had to step in and probably, take a larger role early in the game than maybe we'd expected. And so those opportunities are what it takes, and you got to be able to seize them when they come your way.
A couple more. Mark, then Colton.
You talk about
using different players. What's your thoughts on the running back rotation, what you saw from Tyree, and obviously Darian got a good opportunity too.
He did. I thought those guys did a good job, and we still mixed some things, and not even just Jackson Aker mixes in there too in some situations early in the game, in a little bit of a different role. But I thought that it gave Tyree an opportunity probably to truly kind of see what he can establish, and even, being physical at that. I think those kinds of guys do gain momentum after taking hits, and whether they're hits that they play or hits that guys deliver to them. And I don't know what his numbers were. I don't know how many times he touched the ball. I just felt like there was a little bit more of an energy because, we were able to establish some of that and kind of not mix it up nearly as much. And Darren Dupree made some plays. And I'm not sure that the play that they called him down, now he might have put the ball on the ground a little bit, but I'm not sure that's down. I'm not even sure he had possession of the ball when they said his wrist hit the ground. I mean, that right there, you kind of see like, oh, okay, take care of the football, but there's two guys on him, and he's pretty close to breaking that thing clean open. And obviously had a heck of a catch down the middle of the field. So I think that it's pretty bright in that room with some of those guys.
Look, obviously it's a different challenge week to week, but third down was a lot better this week. What do you think you guys on defense did to get off the field more consistently?
We made some plays. I mean, I think early on, I don't think our pass rush was great. I know that we did, let's say worry, but we were very concerned about the escapability of Card. Last year, he hurt us running around. He did today, too. I mean, he extended plays for 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds. I think we learned some things last week about plastering down the field and what we didn't do a good enough job of. But it comes down to making plays. And I think early on, there's a play made by Christian Allegro on a ball that's going to be open, but it's open because it's a zone. And he does a heck of a job at flipping and getting his hand on the ball. And then we tip it again, and it almost comes back to him. And some of those ones are where you're like, the difference last week where, maybe the ball was delivered in a perfect spot, but we didn't get a hand on it. And so we were able to mix it up, both up front, I think coverage-wise. I think maybe that's what kept him off his rhythm more than even the pressure that we gave him, because we did give him a lot of respect on how his ability to extend plays.
Luke, you mentioned the adversity you guys faced. The two receivers go down early. Tyrell also goes down, and then Jack also in the second half has a little bit of an issue. How much of this game was about players stepping up?
More than people want to talk about. And as you're trying to build confidence, I mean, when guys go down, that sometimes is a struggle, and that's where if it does work out like it did today, boy, does it build the confidence of a lot of other people where maybe you were, felt really good about 4 or 5 deep at the wide receiver position. Guys go in there and perform in their opportunities. You feel a lot better about maybe 6 or 7. And I just mean that in the sense that you still got to find ways to get guys enough opportunities and not just roll every single play. But this is what it takes to continue to build a program. And, it doesn't always happen that way. Guys go down and guys don't take advantage of their opportunities. Today a lot of guys did, whether it was, the wide receivers or Kevin Haywood who went in. And not saying it's perfect, but I still didn't feel like there was pressure on us. I still didn't feel like there was, anything on the headset where, Kevin missed something. So there's some really good situations for young guys. I think that'll vote really well for us in this stretch. All right, thank you.